I'm doing today. This is to address basically what happened the other day, and obviously I sounded the alarms, not specifically because of what BITGET was doing, but more someone inside, I guess, one of your managers or community managers or someone was messaging a couple of whales that I know and basically telling us to get our funds off the exchange. Obviously, I didn't know what the situation was, but I always think it's better to be safe than sorry. We've all learned from teachable moments like FTX and things that have happened in the past when you're not in control of your keys, not your crypto. So I figured, let people take off their money and basically make sure that it's all good. And then worst case scenario, we can have a talk and figure out if it was or what it was. If it was nothing, better to be safe than sorry. And then they could continue using BitGet. But this doesn't come from me. It didn't come from FUD. I don't use referral links. So it's not something that I wasn't on a competition. And I just wanted to know kind of what was going on. I know some of the people that work at BitGet as well, so it wasn't something personal. But I wanted to know, why would someone be saying this stuff to certain people that are traders? And, there was definitely not coming from me. And it wasn't just one person that said it. And then, so there's that. And then I'm not sure if you guys know, there's some whistleblower document going around from a law firm in the US. So there was someone also, I think it's just like someone internally had a problem with you guys. I'm not too sure what it is or what it was, but obviously this is something that was quite serious. And I take these things quite seriously because of all the bad things that have happened in crypto over the last 10 years while I've been here. I always err on the side of caution. And if anything was going on, I'd rather people save themselves and save the community a bunch of more heartache than, we've already had enough of that in the last 2 years with FTX and things like that, and Celsius and BlockFi and Voyager. So the not your keys, not your crypto thing, I think is really apparent. And so I wanted to make sure, regardless of having, all your protections in place and things like that, that people were, going to be protected in the short term while I figured it out. Had a chance to talk to you guys, Gleb, and then obviously do the spaces so we could, clear up all of the different, allegations. Heard that there was an internal investigation. So I was kind of sent a document of what was sent around to, the team and what was going on. And so I'm basically just trying to figure out, who was this, what happened? Maybe you guys know now from doing an investigation. And then going to ask about this law firm in the United States out of New York that has apparently a whistleblower document. I'm not too sure what to make out of that. I'm not even sure if you guys knew about that, but I've seen it, I've read it, and I just wanted to go through that and just basically clear the air and so the industry can feel a little bit more calm and how you guys actually operate so that people don't go through an FTX type of situation. I know you have proof of reserves. There's certain people that say those can be faked. So, I'm always after being in the space this long, going to protect the community first. For me, it's about them. It's about the regular, everyday human being out there trying just to make it in crypto. And I never want them to go through things that I've gone through in this space. And it really sucks. So I figured, this is never a personal attack. It was more just a teachable moment. If anything, if everything is all good. But I wanted to teach everybody that, it is not your key, it's not your crypto. Things can go wrong. You guys have already probably been a part of these types of things as well, being in the space so long. And so maybe we could just air out, figure out what happened. You guys give your side of the story, and then, we can move on forward with the industry and let this be something that is a good lesson for anyone that's in crypto, regardless if it's BitGet or any other exchange or any other custodian, that, not your keys, not your crypto. And we say that for a reason. And if you're going to be safe versus sorry, it's always better to just double check and make sure. I got my funds off of FTX when CZ texted about selling. It really had nothing to do with FTX at that time, but I just had a feeling because I've been in the space so long, and I got my funds off within 24 hours of the actual, about all the really bad stuff that happened afterwards. So, I think it's smart and it's responsible for me to do something. And if I didn't, and then something did happen, and that person inside was being honest and saying the truth, then, I would have felt terrible because I wouldn't have said anything. So that kind of blew up a lot. And I think, any news is good news for anyone, especially if we can, find out that these are not true allegations. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a story on your side as to what or who said this or why someone might say it. I have no idea. But this did not come from like just some random group. It came from a group that I've been in for many years in this space that are full of OGs, lots of KOLs, lots of influential people that build projects, incubate projects, etc. So I wasn't saying this out of just, out of thin air. And yeah, so I basically just wanted to err on the side of caution. And that obviously blew up. And I think it's still a really good lesson regardless for everyone that's in the space. And yeah, so that's basically my side of the story. Love to hear your guys' side of the story, how you guys operate, how you can protect people from these type of terrible events happening, and just basically a little bit more about what you do and how you operate. Because in the past, I've talked to, I think 2.5 years ago, I talked to someone who was working at BitGet, and they told me they had licenses for US and Canada, and then we found out they were expired, or at least the MSB license in Canada at that time was expired. So I always was very cautious about BitGet since then, because I do my due diligence and I make sure as much as possible that if I'm going to put my money and my keys on an exchange, that I can always get them back off. And we always know there's a counterparty risk when you do so. So yeah, basically that's where I'm coming from. And yeah, I'd love to hear like your guys' side, if you figured out who this person was, or have an idea of why they would say something like this to large scale traders. Because to me, I didn't really understand why that would happen. But when two different people in a group both confirm something, I start to get a little bit worried. People are talking about this girl Sandra, and they're saying that she's not around and like she's really inactive. So I was like, who is this Sandra person? Then it says on her Twitter that she's the CEO. So then we're like, okay. And then someone said that the CEO is missing. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is just a whole story all over a sudden. And we've all seen what happened with Quadrica CX. If you've been in the space long enough, when CEOs go missing, that could be a problem. And yeah, so that's kind of like my side of the story about what was going on, about why I said what I said, about, basically trying to protect the community first and foremost before anything could happen. And if you guys are going to prove that, you found something out, there is something that happened, someone was disgruntled as an employee and they were kind of just trying to sabotage BitGet, that could be aired out for you guys on your side so you could tell your story. And again, why I was doing this was not for me to attack you guys or anyone specifically. It was more because not your keys, not your crypto, and someone's saying something. And we should always err on the side of caution in our space. And in the worst case scenario of this whole situation was people took funds off. And then if everything's all good, they can always put them back on. So I think there's not a really huge negative side of this. And obviously the attention that was given, now we can give people the other side of the story and explain why I said that versus like thinking that I was really trying to attack you guys.
Okay, thank you for that. Gracie, would you like to start us off, please? Gracie, can you hear us? Gracie, you're muted. We'll come back to Gracie then. Vuger, do you want to start us off? Maybe some of your insights?
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for taking time today, especially you, Coach. And I think one of the important cautions you had regarding the new appointment, and which is ended up being me. For some of you, most probably don't know me. The others do know me. Before joining BitGet, I served as a chief marketing officer at Being Crypto, one of the largest media companies in the crypto, third largest by volume, and also first for the coverage. We operated in 16 countries, in 16 languages, with more than 300 people, which means I have a vast experience when it comes to global expansion. And during my tenure there, the company doubled its traffic and also had all-time high revenues. And this is the experience I'm bringing to BitGet. But it's not limited to the being crypto. Prior to that, I also worked at Enhanced Ventures and helped Dubai authorities to set up the launch pad for the digital assets with the Dubai International financial city, and prior to that, I also headed marketing for Sony, the Fortune 500 company, and also served in Danone, Carlsberg, and some other large institutions. And luckily, I do come from Harvard, where Gracie is also Gracie's alma mater is MIT. These two institutions are across the road on the same bank of the Charles River at Cambridge, and I have known BitGet team for long enough to trust them, and eventually I decided to join the team in order to help the company to grow and have an exponential growth across the globe. And that was the main reason of me joining to the team, because the main idea was not for us to kind of replace one or another, but actually complement. And after meeting the Gracie and most of the team members before I even made the decision to join the team and kind of have this warm up and take this very important position, the idea was to discover these synergies, and I do feel that there's a huge synergy between all of us, and that's the main reason that I ended up in a team. And I believe that I bring a great experience that will complement the long way the company already came. When it comes to the going back to the entire discussion and the questions you had, Coach, I think first important and most important thing we need to address here is that we are still in the middle of the investigation. We are trying to understand what happened and why this happened. We know that sometimes, especially in a friend group, especially in this industry, like some things can be taken out of the context, and it's not necessarily that people who gave the news or spread the information, they had like any bad intentions, because sometimes, especially like occasionally, like these innocent mistakes and information taken out of the context can set off this chain reaction and like a butterfly effect. And every time person passes to another, right, the information, we will notice that like more details added for dramatic effect. Sometimes people chase that 15-minute fame, and especially in our industry with the crypto Twitter or today's X, or the media has much more drastic influence to everything that can happen compared to any other industry. And therefore, I think everyone should be very responsible, whether they're like internal players, spokespeople, but also media or the KOLs, opinion leaders, industry experts, when they say something, because every tweet, every news, every information that spread could and can have a drastic effect in what's happening. And I think it was one of the great examples we saw the several days ago when all the news was going around how industry is adding up. And also we saw that more and more people join, even they don't have full information, or they were not part of that, or they don't even have like a first-hand information. They will just you know jump in order to get a piece of the fame and share. And it's not always people who have the funds in the exchange, and of course it's always better to be safe than sorry, but we also saw that most people just jump into different fields and like a news in order to have that right for the credit to say that, oh, I said so. And I think that was what's happening in last 2 days. That's what we were observing. And I think this was a great lesson for us as a team, as a company, to make sure that it's not only about the legal frameworks and NDAs and making sure that we have that legal protection, but we also need to more and more educate our also internal teams to make sure that we safeguard the proprietary information we have, first party data we have, and make sure that every team member, even within the friends and family group, even with a small joke, if they share some information, it can cascade to a very different level. Gracie, do you want to join me here?
Yes. Just let me double check. Is my work working now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So again, thank you, Coach K, for opening this up and having this conversation. I think Vulga gave us a bit of context already. And to address some of your other questions, let me just quickly jump in, talking about Sandra, where you raised about her. So Sandra is our CEO. She has been with the firm since 2018, the year that we started, and she's still our CEO, and she's based in Singapore office. I actually just met her a few weeks ago in Singapore. And also doing Token 2049, we had business meetings, we had casual leisure boat trips as well, just to bring some of our partners out for the experience and joining the Sunshine in Singapore. So let me double confirm with you that she's still in the firm, and she is one of our earliest team members. It's just mainly because she is she's actually a very private person, I would say. And compared to her, I'm more of a public speaking style, more of external role. And I began representing BITGET in various occasions since I joined in 2022, early 2022. And before that, Sandra was a lot like quoted in the media, on our PR release, etc. But right now, she's very much focused on business and product management and product development since I joined. So her Twitter update is very, very not very frequent. And we actually, honestly speaking, we actually lost control of that Twitter. Like, she lost control of that Twitter account. So we are in the process of recovering it. That's why you didn't hear from her for a while. But she plays a very important role within the company, and she's still here. So she's not missing. Again, I hope that clarifies some vague or cloud in the space. And I'm happy to address any other questions that Couch K you have.
Yeah, it's good to know that. I mean, like, I'm not getting that information from I wasn't getting that information or making up that information. It was coming from someone inside the company. So hopefully you guys can figure out who that is, because they pretty much started this whole entire thing, and apparently it was two different people. It's from two people. So I don't know why they would say that. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me, because this was told to people that told us, and everyone was like sounding off the alarms. And I felt like if I didn't say anything and there was actually something wrong, then I would feel responsible for not doing it. And then the other side was, after this became a huge thing, I was like, okay, maybe we should come on a Spaces, because I didn't expect it to go so viral, I guess you could say. And I want to maybe have you guys explain, how do you protect users' assets on your exchange, just so like I can have a better understanding, and so can anyone who is on the other side of that, who is like, yeah, BITGET's bad or whatever. What do you do specifically to protect user funds, so that something like FTX couldn't happen on your exchange? Maybe this can be a chance to like educate users that would come and use BITGET potentially, and make it something that would help make them feel more secure, I guess, because obviously we've all gone through, I've been through 3 cycles. So I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen. People I've trusted have backstabbed me. Exchanges have blown up. And so like, I'm always going to have my guard up when it comes to this, because I have so many friends that have gotten wrecked from things like this. And I want to always make sure that I have their back. So again, this was not an attack against you guys specifically at all. This was more like, someone inside is telling that information, and I was verifying it with 2 different sources. Different people inside the company were saying different things, and they were both very negative. So I guess maybe to address the other side of what's the worst thing that could happen with BITGET? How do you guys custody your funds? How can you protect yourselves and your customers from one of the types of things that happened in the past with other exchanges, so that maybe this could help myself and anyone else who would listen to this now or later understand that. And then that could be more of a teachable moment for everyone that's here, and, basically make people like myself and others feel more comfortable. And obviously, hopefully you find who's saying this if it's not true, because, it is not very good for them to say that. And it's really damaging to you guys. But my goal was not to damage your reputation. My goal was to teach people that it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. If you're going to trust someone, you shouldn't, because it's the whole point we got in crypto for. And if there's anything that could potentially be wrong, even if it's a long shot, we should always take our funds off an exchange or any third-party counterparty and protect them just in case. And then we can always go back, put funds back on, and continue trading on any platform. So yeah, basically, Can you explain that process of how do you guys protect funds? How do you stop anything like FTX ever happening? What are your internal policies and procedures? So I can learn as well a little bit more how you guys operate.
I can talk about this. So BITGET is working on a top-notch security policy already. Although I do think there are space for improvements. For example, I've been involved in some of those conversations, like talking to some auditing firm, like the Big Four auditing firm. But so far, they are not accepting major crypto exchange business in terms of auditing our ledger, even not Binance, right? And other than those things, I think we did what we can do according to an industrial's like top-notch standards. So, for example, you mentioned BITGET Protection Fund. That's something we launched long before FTX collapse. That was here to ensure our users' assets are safeguarded, even if an incident happens, such as hacking or unstable like network. But basically, that fund's value will remain above US more than 300 million USD. And so far, I think with Bitcoin price going up, it's nearly 400 million USD. And we also disclosed all the wallet addresses, because when you say, like, for example, if I just say we have that fund, nobody believes that, right? Like you said, if we don't see it for our own eyes, you probably won't be able to trust that. So we disclosed the wallet addresses, and it's all on our website, and you can click in those wallet addresses, which is to a third-party address to look for itself. And in those funds, we only have USDT, USDC, and BTC, not even Ethereum, definitely not our own platform token, BGB. So these assets are here stored in those wallet addresses, I think 7 to 8 of them, that are public for users to track in real time. That's one policy that we have. Then proof reserve. Yes, so proof reserve has been a bigger thing since December 2022. And proof reserve for us at BITGET, we update it on a monthly basis, and we want to ensure at least a 1-to-1 reserve ratio of our customer fund. So I haven't checked our newest report, because it's updated on a monthly basis. But I think for the past 2023, roughly our average reserve ratio is definitely over 100, nearly to 200%, which is meaning we hold about twice the reserve that our users have. Like our company's reserve is twice the user's reserve. That means we are a very rich company in that sense. But most importantly, we want to be very transparent and publish proof reserve. And by the way, if you encounter any exchanges that doesn't have proof reserve, which is available on, for example, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, all these third-party websites, in order for you to check. And if you don't see a proof reserve icon next to that exchange name, you should be very cautious. But like BITGET, some other major ones, let me just open the CoinGecko website. But I think all the major crypto exchanges, we all publish that, and it's an industrial standard. But our reserve ratio is definitely one of the highest.
Yes, that's great. So you're basically over collateralized, right? You're over collateralized, meaning you have more money than you actually have on the exchange. Who custodies your exchange? Is it like Fireblocks, or do you guys have your own? Like, is it a third party that you use that's protecting the assets as well?
So we don't have our own custodial company, which I think I know one bigger exchange, they have their own custodial company, which they declare is not theirs. But I know their CEO, who was working for the exchange previously. But anyway, that's not our approach. We work with third-party custodial of companies like Fireblocks, like Cooper, like Kobo. So all these top, the most famous ones in the industrial that we work with. We work with, I think, all 3 of them. There might be a smaller one or a smaller ones that we work with, but these are the 3 major ones that I'm aware of.
Yeah, that sounds good. What I guess, like, if someone put their funds on the exchange, what is the, like, in a worst case scenario, what would be the worst case scenario that could happen other than a hack? Is there any other way for someone to lose their funds on the exchange at any point in time?
I don't think so, because if I'm aware of that potential, we will definitely have our either tech team or risk control team fixing that problem. So I don't think anything can happen worse than the hacking. But even if a hacking happens, we do have the protection fund, and as I mentioned, it's one of the reasons of having that protection fund is to ensure our users' assets are safeguarded.
That's great. Okay, so that's good that you cleared that up. So basically, even if someone's saying something in your own company, there's pretty much no chance of any of that being true, because they could see that all on chain, and you guys are not really the ones custodying the funds. You are the one that is you're giving it to the right third parties that have multi-sig wallets that protect your assets on your behalf. And so that users that have their money on the exchange aren't going to have a potential FTX situation, and you're not loaning out your own token to get more USDT, so that there's no FTX type of possibilities, correct?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you cleared that up, because when someone internally says anything, and I don't know you guys that well. I've only met you once, I think, at a conference. It's hard for me to just trust. So I think it's always don't trust, verify. So that was kind of the whole idea here. And regardless of any news, all news is good news. Regardless if it's bad news, it brought a lot of attention to the exchange, and I hope that this will bring the positive attention to the exchange so that we can move forward from it. I know there's been negative news from other influencers as well in the past. So I really wanted to kind of make sure 100%. Verify everything. And then, I know Gleb for many years. He told me, hey, let's like, why are you saying this? I said exactly what happened. I think he alerted you and the team to go and do an investigation. And now that that's up and we're clearing the air, I think that's great. I'm always kind of scared from centralized exchanges. So I think everyone should be careful. But I do like what you guys are doing in terms of what you're saying. It makes me feel more comfortable. And, next time maybe I would go about it a little different. I didn't expect it to be this big. It actually blew up really, really big. So I'm sorry for that. But yeah, I hope you do get to the bottom of whoever was saying this. And yeah, don't keep them in your space, because it really kind of freaked me out for the industry. And, like with FTX not being that long ago, I always am going to protect the industry's retail guys first and foremost. And I know that you responded to it, but I wanted us to have a proper conversation about it and give you guys a chance to try and figure out who was saying this and why. And also there's this document that I've seen that someone sent me that was under NDA that said there's a whistleblower and the document's dated in September of last year. So it's not that old. I don't know if you know anything about that or if you want to address anything on that. But yeah, basically we know what happened with the whistleblower thing that happened with CZ. So is there anything that you know about from this document? It's a New York law firm that sent it out. And I'm just curious if there's anything you want to comment on that, or if you even know what that is about, or if there maybe is some internal employee stuff that happened in the past that's causing them to kind of attack you guys.
Mm-hmm. Sure. When I replied this Twitter space, I said, whatever our community has in terms of any questions, let's clarify them. Thank you for bringing this up. I'm happy to address it. So I am aware of this Slam Legal document and even the person behind it. I know it's a dispute with a former employee. I know that person personally. Of course, from work, but we actually met many times in different conferences. He was heading one of our departments before he left the firm. But basically, this is not a whistleblowing report. It's more of a dispute with this former employee. I'm very sad to see this happen. but because it's still ongoing, this dispute is still ongoing, so we can't comment on this too much. But I can share with you, we are aware of this, and we're dealing with this already. And I think one thing important here is even from the recent, I wouldn't call it FUD. I understand that you have a good intention of warning the community, especially your followers or crypto community in general, so that we can protect the community, which is a goal that we share as an exchange as well. So I'm glad we had this AMA. But one thing that I want to highlight here is for BITGET, I think we've growing quite far and fast for the past 1.5 years. And we have about definitely 2 digits number of people coming in and going out on a quarterly basis. And we still have another 100 openings right now for new jobs. But both these issues, the US legal document that you are talking about, and also the recent news that you heard about us, I think both of them come from our previous employees. So we did have a reflection with our HR team and many other departments in terms of how we can manage the ex-employees and how they can continue making contributions. Even if they're not contributing to BITGET specifically, they can still contribute to our industry and continue building here. But this is a bit challenging because I guess every fast-growing emerging enterprises may face the same issue, and we are constantly making progress through this, exploring how to manage employees with different backgrounds, different nationalities, different cultures that we're working with, which is again challenging but also fulfilling. But I want to, come across and let people know that this is a dispute with a former employee. We're dealing with it, but we hope we can do better in terms of managing employees and ex-employees.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, it's good for people to know that, I also want people to know I wasn't making things up, obviously. I was saying things out of, my heart for the community, and, there's lots of bad things that have happened while I've been in this space. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all good. I'm glad that you cleared this up, Gracie, and Voger and Gleb. I appreciate you guys doing that and, being very professional about it. I've had a lot of unprofessional things happen, but the whole time my messaging was, we're being safe and then we'll figure it out, and better be safe than sorry. It wasn't, I hate BITGET, you guys are terrible. I didn't have anything really bad to say about you guys. I just wanted everyone to understand where I was coming from, and just to help them educate themselves as well. At the same time, it's a great teachable moment that, we've all put money on different platforms and things have gone bad on some of them. And not saying that it's you guys, but, it's great for people just to remember that and also double check and do more due diligence. So I'm really glad that you kind of came on. We're very professional. The team sounds great. The updates are good. Whoever was making this, a huge issue and telling all this group of people that this was a huge issue to get your funds off. I mean, those people are it's really not nice to do that to an exchange. But yeah, we can clear the air now. And I think that's really good because, it's always nice to have, good centralized exchanges out there. It does make it easier for a lot of people till DEXs become more prevalent and easier to use. The UI UX is great on BITGET. I've used it before. And so, yeah, I'm just glad that you guys came on and cleared out the air. Hopefully many people will hear this and understand, that I'm sorry that I said what I said, but I'm also not really sorry because I was trying to teach people that it was something that can definitely happen. And, it wasn't really an attack. It was more of an educational thing, like get your funds off. Then when they asked me why, I said, I'm hearing this stuff from people on the inside. I would much, much rather all of us find out for sure. Take off your funds, put them back on now that everything's safer, that there's over collateralization, and there's more education now for myself and obviously for the whole entire industry to know this if they didn't before. And I'll share this around to everyone in all my groups and all the other places as well, so that they also don't have the FUD of thinking this was real. And yeah, if anyone else here right now has any questions, hopefully they can ask them and bring up their concerns if they have any. But I think this, for me personally, cleared up the air. And I appreciate you guys doing this as well as you probably appreciate me doing it. And yeah, I'm never a bad person in the space. I don't mean harm or anything. I'm an all love type of personality. If you meet me in real life, you'll know that. But yeah, I'm always protective of people. I'm a father and I'm a coach. And that's the whole concept, is always protect the whole team, protect the squad, protect the industry. So yeah, hopefully you guys don't take that personally, and maybe we could, potentially work together on something in the future. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, because I think it was really important with how big that blew up.
Sure. Thank you for your time as well. I don't know if we have time or space for Q.
Okay, I'm connecting to Krypto K. You have the floor. Please ask your question. Krypto K, can you hear us?
Okay. While waiting, I guess I can quickly, I and Volker can both quickly talk about our plan for 2024 while CH is working on maybe selecting questions or letting others speak. But I just want to quickly talk about, because this is January 15th, we just started the year with about half a month. And many people have been asking me about our plan for 2024. And we have Volker join us recently. So I don't know, Volker, you do you want to speak about this part? And just to share some of your thoughts on operations.
Sure, definitely. As I am already heading the operations, it means there will be a lot of operational changes and upgrades, because our main goal will be to be operationally efficient, especially during this growth journey. And we are still growing and expanding. As Gracie meant, in last year and a half, we skyrocketed, and we want to keep the same pace. Currently, we have more than 100 positions open, and we are welcoming and more top talent from the industry to join our team. And it's very important to have this growth fueled by the right talent, both from crypto and also the traditional financial industry that we want to welcome to our team. And our main goal and like the growth trajectory is to prepare BITGET and the entire company for the upcoming market expansions that most probably I will be also looking forward and trying to work hard in order to cement BITGET's position in core markets that we are eyeing to expand and also to have growth at. This will be very important aspect to us. And also I wanted to add one important point to Coach's points when it came regarding the having funds and assets in centralized exchanges. Besides our, of course, the core business, which is the BitGet exchange, we also do offer a decentralized wallet, BitGet wallet, where it is your keys and your funds. And I think the both opportunities that we do offer our users, whether it's having their funds securely and safely stored and traded on BitGet in itself, and also the way that they can definitely keep their funds in our decentralized wallet. I think it's one of the greatest opportunities for the entire industry to see and understand how BitGet is safeguarded. And we also do appreciate the efforts to make sure that we put our audience and our users as a number one priority, and to make sure that everyone's funds are safeguarded in all possible scenarios. CH, you want to go back to the possible questions?
Sure thing. Yes. Yes, indeed. We have an audience member that is a speaker now. Name, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks for bringing me up here. I also work now with BitGet since August 2022, and I can just confirm what Vugar said. It's great to work with these guys. I was also many times in the office here in Dubai, and more than $200 million volume actually in month. And really, I never had any issues. And what the most don't understand is like there is an open security fund, guys. You can look therein. You can see there 6,500 bitcoins on the wallet, and more than, I don't know, 140 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. 140 million USDT open. You know, it's like on the blockchain. You can verify it, and like that, it's also giving me some source of trust where I can say, okay, my funds are safe there. And yeah, from the working side as an KOL, it's really like I have many KOL partnerships, and like that, it's one of the best exchanges what I had KOL experience since yet.
Name, thank you so much for that. We will have another audience come up here and speak. You have Mide. You have the floor.
Hello guys. My name is Mide. Thank you for coming up. Thank Coach K for you guys doing all of this, because I think accountability is super important, especially with what has been going on in this space. So I think Grace has answered the questions properly, and I think moving forward, it's something that we can all grow and learn from. I have a couple of questions about the security. Having listened to what you guys have said, you guys have the backup funds. You guys have an external third-party custodian, so that is good. But what other security protocols have you set up? One thing I know about the crypto space is there's most people push security as an afterthought, and it's supposed to be the beginning of the framework. So how are you guys structured to have more security in case of we know this is well, we don't know, but we assume this is a whistleblower, and it's fraud and all of those good stuff. But in a case of a real issue, maybe a real security issue, maybe a hack or a whatever, what security procedures or protocols have you set up? Do you have it as an afterthought, or do you have it included initially when you were setting up the whole system?
Sure, I'm happy to talk about this. But I do believe my security team might have more expertise in terms of explaining the technical mechanism behind it. But let me just give it a try in terms of explaining it on a more general, broader point of view. So back to your question, security is something that we care a lot, and we do it both before anything could happen, or more like a preventive measures, but also post or when it happens. So things like we separate the cold and the hot wallets, and we use lots of third-party, top-notch service providers to detect any potential hack or breakdowns, etc. So, for example, 30K is a famous firm in crypto space. They do auditing for codes for projects and exchanges. I know their founders, who is I think Columbia University professor or Yale University professor, but anyway, a U.S. top university professors, and also their COO, who is also very tech-driven, Jason. So these are some of the firms that we work with in order to ensure that we have a higher security measures. So the firms that we work with in order to ensure that we have a higher security measures. So that's two approaches, the ones that open and cold wallet separation, cold and hot wallet separation, using the third-party service providers. I think the security team also told me that, anyway, there are 5 or 6 of them. I just can't think of everything right now in my head. But basically, there are different ways to be preventive, to be very fast in solving any issue when it happens, and also post any incidents. Security issue is something, or if not the most important or challenging thing that all the exchanges face together. I actually talked to OKX managing director Lennox, and also KuCoin and some other exchanges, and we talked about setting up a exchange alliance, and the main purpose of that exchange alliance is to ensure that we have very high standard in terms of security, hacking, listing, and these are some of the issues that all the top exchanges face together. We need to solve them as an industry, but also I'm happy to invite our security guy to give us a very thorough understanding of that. But please be rest assured that we don't look for security solutions only after it happens, or only after any breach or any hacking happens. We do lots of trainings for our employees. We do lots of preventive measures before anything bad could happen. I hope that answers your question.
Great, thanks guys. That about concludes our questions from our audience. Do you have any last remarks before we close off the space here today? Gracie, let's start with you.
Last words. I do see our Twitter community a lot. Again, this is a bit different from the normal Twitter space that we did. But I'm glad that we're having this. And again, thank you, Coach K, for bringing this up and joining us today for this AMA. I guess the main purpose is, again, to help the whole crypto community better understand the current status of BITGET and clarify some misunderstandings and rumors. If you hear anything next time, I hope that I'm the first person that you check with before spreading any untruthful news or a little bit extravated information about us, so that we can eliminate any rumors before that happens. But again, thank you for joining us for today, and I'll see you a lot in any other Twitter spaces and events.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for your time. Clearing the air is really important. I think it's really good for everyone that came in, anyone who was following, and I honestly didn't believe how much it blew up. It felt like, I didn't realize the influence that I had on that. It was more just to kind of tell the people that usually follow me, and it seemed to get really, really big. I think that any news is good news. So I think in the end, it probably would cause a lot more signups, because people are going to find out now that, okay, who's BITGET? Where are you guys from? What you guys are doing? And hopefully this gets out to a lot of different people, and they can see like, okay, maybe Coach had bad information, and I definitely will come to you next time. I learned a little bit of a lesson myself that, sometimes things that you say can really get blown out of proportion. And, in the end, I didn't really have connection to you, Gracie. So I didn't really know, if I would even get a response, or if you would have responded. So I'm glad that we did this, and that we got it out, clarity from that, and everyone got to ask their questions, and, we get to clarify for the entire community how you guys operate, the safety that you have in place in terms of an insurance fund, and that, we all can have some peace of mind if we're going to trade on BITGET, that, we have a little bit of, an overall collateralization and insurance, and, a team that's pretty dedicated and well-educated, etc. So yeah, thank you again for your time, everyone here. I appreciate, everything that you're doing, and yeah, keep it up, keep protecting the community with everything that you guys are doing. And I hope that this year is a big year for you, because I assume with the halving and everything that's coming up, it will be very busy for you, and I'm sure you'll start filling a lot of these positions. And so thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Coach K. Vugar, any last remarks here?
Sure, definitely. Thanks everyone for joining today. And as a new Chief Operations Officer of BITGET, I will be doing my best to make sure that we address all the issues before they turn into the problems or blow up. And as Gracie mentioned, I'm also 24/7 available for any cross-checking and cross-referencing if needed. and also for our followers and our community in 2024. This year, we have three major directions that we will be focusing as a company, where it comes about compliance, of course, growing and cementing our position in emerging markets, and definitely growing and looking into the Web3. We are planning to make sure that BITGET becomes that trusted partner for everyone within our industry, and we are always reachable and available for any sorts of communication and cooperation and collaboration all together. And again, thanks for coach making sure that we clean the air and we are all in good terms and moving forward. We would definitely appreciate that. If there's any hesitations or questions, everyone could immediately connect with me or Gracie to make sure that we address all the problems that may arise out there and make sure that we clear the air before taking into the public spaces and snowballing into something big.
Booger, thank you so much. And thank you to all three of our guests here for taking the time today. That is it from us. We will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.